Hey everyone, either welcome back or welcome to my channel. In today's video, I want to talk about the difference between what a migraine headache feels like and what a IIH headache feels like. So, let's roll the intro. Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ashley Stewart. So, 2018 was actually a pretty hard year for me, but it was also a pretty good year too. So, I completed my bachelor's degree in biochemistry. But at the same time, I was also diagnosed with a rare condition called idiopathic intracranial hypertension, or IIH. Some of you may also know this by its older name called pseudotumor cerebri. So, if you're curious to learn more about what it's like to live with this rare condition, then I encourage you to watch on. Don't forget to subscribe, and I upload new content every Monday and Thursday afternoon. I want to try and explain this not only for family members who have this question, but for people out there who want to know the difference between migraines and the IIH headaches because they are very different. And this is coming from somebody who does experience both. And you may be able to notice that I'm recording without my glasses on, and it's because I've noticed that there's a lot of glare coming off of the camera, or I guess the window, and it's because I'm using natural light to do filming right now. And it's because my videos, I really like the way that they look, but my glasses are reflecting really badly. So I want to try filming without my glasses on. So the first thing I want to do is describe what each of these headaches feels like, and then do a little bit of compare and contrast. So I want to start with first what a migraine headache feels like to me. The topiramate that I take is specifically for migraine prevention, and it has reduced the number of days that I have headache days. So some of it must be migraines. It doesn't seem to have a typical pattern, or at least that I've really paid attention to. Now, then again, I haven't really sat down and wrote it out. And whenever you get a headache and you have IIH, you just assume, unless you have the pulsatile tinnitus, and the amount of times that I've actually had the pulsatile tinnitus, which I'll talk about when I talk about the IIH headache specifically, is so low that it's really hard to tell exactly which ones are the IIH headaches unless you get that pulsatile tinnitus. So for me, migraine headaches are just very intense headaches minus the pulsatile tinnitus that last for several hours at a time, usually. And when I was on the amitriptyline beforehand, I didn't usually get the migraines, and now that I'm on the topiramate, I don't seem to be getting the migraines. If you've never experienced an intense headache this bad, then it's very difficult to relate. And I don't even like to call it a headache because ibuprofen, acetaminophen, the typical over-the-counter medications, they won't touch this kind of headache. They won't do anything to numb the pain. You're lucky if they slightly dull the pain. The cue usually that I'm getting an IIH related headache for me is a really intense pain around my eyes. It usually starts around my eyes, but then again, if you've been doing a lot of screen work or a lot of time spending too much time on your screens, doing too much time working with your screens or spending too much time focusing, it's a very similar pain to you've been concentrating too hard and working too much with your screens. That's a very similar type of pain to that. So if you want to give something similar, it starts out like that and it just intensifies and goes around. And actually, a bulk of my pain, and I still have this sore spot almost all the time. In fact, there's a lot of times where if you see me, you might see me resting my head in a really weird spot. And it's usually, I've actually showed it to you before when we used to be at my desk. I don't remember where this was. I think it was in my February update, actually. It was February or March update. I actually rotated around and showed you where my sore spot was. But if you notice, I sometimes rub my head, if you're around me, against a sore spot on the back of my head. And that sore spot is always there. I just get to the point where I no longer mention it because people stop listening to me. So the biggest difference between the migraine and the IIH headaches is the pulsing in the head. So this is some of the worst pain that I've ever experienced, but I still think the worst pain I've ever experienced was the low pressure headache. Like, that was absolutely crazy. The amount of pain that I was in for that was just wild. The clearest difference between the migraine and IIH headaches is that pulsatile tinnitus, and that's where the pain comes in. I know when I've had the pulsatile tinnitus, and the amount of times that I've had it has not been very many, but the times I have had the pulsatile tinnitus are the times I've just wanted to curl up in a ball and just start crying because, like I said, it is some of the worst pain that I've ever experienced, and it's the time with IIH that you really have no control over anything at all. And if that was to start happening at any point of the day, anything that you're trying to do, you have to set aside and just rest because you're pretty much out of commission at that point, and it can happen at any time of the day. So I just wish people understood that it can happen at any time of the day. And usually it's not just your head that's hurting at that point. I know for me, usually if my head is that sore, usually it's going in, like, my spine is usually also pretty sore too. And it's actually, like, I feel it in my lower back as well. I don't know why that is. I have no idea. I don't even know what to call it, like I said. What separates it? It's a headache, but it's not a headache. Like, there's no definition for what this thing is. It's more than a headache. It's not just a headache. I know people say that all the time, but it's really not just a headache. Like, I don't even know. There's no definition for it. Like, let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And as usual, that's it for today. Bye, everyone.